Shabbat Shalom and welcome to Congregation Mickve Israel Shabbat morning service. We're so pleased to have you join us. Welcome to our members and welcome to out-of-town people and members who are out of town right now because you can join us virtually. But we also want to especially welcome everyone who is watching, who's come to celebrate the bar mitzvah of Ari Sinoff with us. We know he's an extraordinary young man. Not only that, he is the first 13-year-old in the history of our synagogue to have a virtual bar mitzvah. So we're so thrilled that he's the first one, and we're so excited to have him and his family here. So again, mazel tov to everyone. We're going to begin our service, though, with not a prayer from him, but a prayer from his parents, as we invite his parents to come up, along with Ari, and give him his talis, his prayer shawl.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahatev b'tzitzit.
You. This morning we're using the prayer book Sinai Revised, which you can find on our website and on the link. We're now going to invite everyone to turn to page 129 as we invite everyone who would like to please rise, as it's our tradition, as we invite Ari to lead us in Hine Matov.
Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Please be seated. The synagogue is the sanctuary of Israel, born out of our longing to feel God's nearness. It has been to the Jewish people throughout our wanderings a visible token of the presence of God in our people's midst. Its beauty is the beauty of holiness, steadfast. It has stood as the champion of justice, mercy, and peace. Its truths are true for all people. Its love is a love for all people. Its God is the God of all people. As it has been said, my house shall be a house of prayer for all people. Let all of the family of Israel, all who hunger for righteousness, all who seek the eternal, find God here and here find life. Please turn to page 131. These are the obligations without measure, whose reward is beyond measure. To honor father and mother, to perform acts of love and kindness, to enrich our knowledge every day, to welcome the stranger, to visit the sick, to rejoice with loving partners and good friends, to console the bereaved, to pray with sincerity, to make peace where there is strife. And the study of Torah is equal to them all, because it leads to them all. The Baruch Hu is found on page 133. Please rise. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. We praise you, God, creator of the universe. We are grateful for this new day, for morning sun and evening star, for flowering trees and flowing tides, for life-giving rains and cooling breezes, for the earth's constant turning, the changing seasons, the cycle of growth and decay, or of life and death. How miraculous are your works! In wisdom you have made them all. The heavens declare your glory. The earth reveals your creative power. You form light and darkness, ordain good out of evil, bring harmony into nature, and peace to the human heart. Great has been your love for us and your compassion boundless. Our ancestors put their trust in you as they learned the laws of life. Be gracious to us that we may understand and fulfill our teachings of your word. Enlighten our eyes through the Torah, that we may live by your commandments. Unite our hearts in love and reverence. We trust in you and rejoice in your guiding power, for from you comes our help. You have called us and drawn us near to you to serve you in faithfulness. Joyfully, we lift up our voices and proclaim your unity. We praise you, for in love you have called upon our people of Israel to serve you. The Shema is found on page 137. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levacha, u'v'chol nafshecha, u'v'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anohi mitzvatacha, hayam al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'vetecha, uvlektecha vadera, v'hayu vadera, uvshakbecha, uvkumecha, ukshertam leot al yedecha, v'hayu latatafot beinenecha, uktavtam al mizizut beitecha, uvisharecha. Laman tiskaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hatzetzi etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lechem le'elohem ani Adonai Elohechem. You shall love the eternal God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you to this day shall be upon your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be a symbol before your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, that you may remember and do all my commandments and be holy to your God. The Eternal One led you out of Egypt to be your God. The Eternal One alone is your God. All this we hold to be true and sure. The Eternal One alone is our God, and there is none else. Through God's power alone has our people Israel been redeemed from the hand of oppressors. Great deeds God has wrought on our behalf, and wonders without number. The Eternal One has kept us in life and has not let our people's footsteps falter. God was with us during the long years of oppression. Our faith sustained us even when our people suffered the deepest anguish. And now that we live in this land of freedom, may we continue to be faithful to God and the teachings of Torah. May the Eternal One's way guide the lives of all people, unite our hearts in peace. O God, our refuge and our hope, we sing your praise as did our people in the ancient days. Mi chamocha be'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha be'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ra tehilot o sefela, no ra tehilot o sefela. The Amida is found on page 142. Please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol v'Hagibor v'Hanera, El Elyon gomil hasadim tovim, v'konei hakol, v'zoher hasdev avot v'imaot, umevi gule livne v'nihem, laman shemo bahava, melech ozer umashia umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham va'erat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol, atav rav lehoshia, mechakel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol brachahamim rabim, somech noflim v'rechfei cholim, umatir asirim, Umakayim emunato lishenei afar michamo habal giverot umidomela melech meti umachaya umatz me Yeshua v'neiman atat lechat hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. We now return to the top of page 142. We praise you, God of our mothers and fathers, God of Abraham, God of Sarah, God of all generations. You bestow love and kindness on all your people. You remember the devotion of those who came before us. As you guided our ancestors with love, you offer hope to their descendants. You are now our creator and helper, our guide and protector. We praise you, eternal God, shield of Abraham and help of Sarah. Infinite is your power, O God, great is your gift of life. In love and kindness, you sustain the world through the endless flow of your blessings. You preserve all of creation, you uphold the falling, and you heal the sick, free the captive, and keep faith with all your people in death as in life. Who is like you, author of life and death? We praise you, God, source of the eternal life. Please be seated and turn to page 146. Our God and God of all ages, grant us that our worship on the Shabbat may be acceptable to you. Sanctify us through your commandments, that the serenity of Shabbat may enter our lives. Teach us to be satisfied with the gifts of your goodness and grateful to rejoice in all that you bestow. Purify our hearts that we may serve you in truth. Inspire us to preserve Shabbat as our heritage. May it ever bring rest and joy, peace and comfort to our homes. We praise you, God who sanctifies the Sabbath. Look with favor upon us, and may our service be acceptable to you. We praise you, whom alone we serve in reverence. On this Shabbat day, as you receive our prayers, help us to more clearly hear your call. Grant us help to fulfill our duties and compassion we need to attend to others. Teach us humility that we may be more aware of our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be more forgiving than others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves and the kindness of heart to see the best in those around us. Give us patience enough not to be discouraged, hope enough to overcome our fears for the future, and the vision to be aware of your presence. O source of all blessings, look with favor upon us, and may our service be acceptable to you. We praise you, whom alone we serve in reverence. We greatly acknowledge that the eternal God is our creator and preserver, the rock of our life, and the shield of our help. We thank God and sing praises for the gift of life itself, for our souls that are ever in God's keeping, for the signs of Creator's presence that we encounter every day, and for God's wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. Truly, our blessings are without end, and God's loving kindness never ceases. Therefore do we forever put in trust in the Eternal One. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and enable our people Israel to be its messenger to all the world. Bless our country, that it may ever be a pursuer of peace and its advocate in the Council of Nations. May the contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes, strengthen the bonds of friendship and harmony among the inhabitants of all land, plant virtue in every soul, and may our love for you hallow every home and every heart. We praise you, O God, giver of peace. Amen.
Thank you, Ari, for leading such a beautiful service so far. As we know, at every one of our services, we take a moment as we say a prayer for those people in need of healing. Usually, as we gather in our sanctuary, we invite anybody here to say names aloud. But now, of course, we invite you to send them into us, so we will still read them aloud in our service. Our thoughts of healing go out to Maria Luisa Guzman and Erline Tyson. And if anybody else would like to say the name of someone aloud or privately, we're now going to invite you to do so. We now invite everyone to turn to page 157 for our Misha Berach, our prayer of healing, as I invite our bar mitzvah to lead us.
Misha Berach Avotenu Makor HaBrecha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebera imotenu makor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing, with refuah shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Let's take a moment of silent prayer.
Mazel tov again to Ari and his entire family, as we're so thrilled again that they're celebrating here today. We're now going to turn to page 152 as we're going to take out our Solomon Torah. Now, when you become a bar mitzvah, the most important part of the service is the actual reading of the Torah, the holiest object in our religion. And this is what it means to become a bar mitzvah, is to become part of the mitzvot, the commandments, and one of them is to read from Torah. So I'm going to invite everyone to turn to page 152. I'm going to invite those who would like to please rise. At the top of the page, it shall come to pass in the end of days that the mountain of God's house shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow into it. And many people shall go and say, Come and let us go up to the mountain of the eternal, to the house of the God of Jacob, that we may be taught the way, and that we may walk in God's path. For out of Zion shall go forth the Torah and the word of the Eternal One from Jerusalem. What I have in my hand is the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, the first 5 books of the Bible. However, it's so much more to us as Jews. What we have in my hands is the representation of all that is dear to us, to our people. The ethical codes that were created during the time of Moses, before and afterwards. The belief that what I have in my hand represents what we need to pass on to the next generation. And we firmly believe we have passed it on from one generation to the next for thousands of years. Many believe that the most important transition was when the prophets gave it to the people. However, in truth, we all know the most important passing of the Torah is not from leaders to people they lead, but from family member to family member. And today we are going to have this Torah passed down from parents to our new bar mitzvah, and it's an honor for us to be a part of it.
Hands up.
Here you go.
Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu,
Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Oh, wait, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Lecha Adonai HaGedola v'HaGevura v'HaTiferet v'HaNetzach v'HaHod Ki chol b'shamayim u'v'aretz Ki chol b'shamayim u'v'aretz Lecha Adonai hamlacha v'hamitnase lechol lerosh.
The Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, is read every week during services. It's on a parchment, so it's very sturdy. It lasts a long time, and each week is divided into a separate portion that is read. So the name of this portion is called Ki Tetzei. It is from the end of Deuteronomy. So we're going to invite Ari to read Deuteronomy chapter 22, verses 1 through 12. If you have a plowed commentary, you can find it on page 1323. Again, page 1323. Now, before and after we read each piece of Torah, we invite somebody to say a prayer beforehand and a prayer afterwards. So it's an honor to invite up Adam Sinoff, Ari's uncle, who will have the first aliyah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'et. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Lo tireh et shor achicha et seo nirachim v'hitalamta mehem hashev tishivem le'achicha v'im lo karov achicha elecha v'lo yidato v'asafto el tok betecha v'haya imecha ad derosh achicha oto v'hashivoto lo v'chen ta'aseh lachamoro v'chen ta'aseh lasimlato v'chen ta'aseh l'chol avedat achicha asher tovad mimenu umsata lo tichol lahitalem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
For the second aliyah, it's a pleasure to invite up Eileen Astra, a friend of the family.
Baruch et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Lo tireh et chamor achicha o shoro no flim badere v'hitalam ta mehem hakem tekim imo lo yeh chali gever al isha v'lo yubash gever simlat isha ki to avad Adonai Elohecha kol ose ela ki yikare katzipor lefanecha badere bechol eitz o al haaretz Ephraim ovetzim v'ha'em rovetzet al ha'ephraim o al ha'vetzim lo tikha ha'em al ha'banim shalea tishlach et ha'em ve'et ha'banim tikachlach lama'an yitavla v'ha'arakta yamim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
And for our third aliyah, it's a pleasure to invite Brad Sinoff, the proud dad of the bar mitzvah, in Hebrew, Akiva Herschel.
Baruch et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Ki tivne bayit chadash va'asita ma'akeh legagecha v'lo tasim damim bevetecha ki pol hanefel mimenu lo tizra karmecha kilayim pentik dash Hamelea hazera asher tizra v'hit be'ah uchvu'ah hakarem lo tacharesh b'shor uvchamor yachdav lo tilbash sha'at nes tzemer ופשתים יחדיו. גדולים תעשה לך על ארבע כנפות כסותך, אשר תכסה בה.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayeh olam nata betoheinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Beautiful job. That was really terrific, Ari. You are now an adult, so mazel tov. And it's a pleasure now to invite your grandparents, Glenn and Sheila Sheely, to read the English translation.
If you see your fellow's ox or sheep gone astray, do not ignore it. You must take it back to your fellow. If your fellow does not live near you or you do not know who he is, you will bring it home and it will remain with you until your fellow claims it. Then you will give it back to him. You will do the same with his donkey. You will do the same with his garment. So too you will do with anything that your fellow loses and you find. You must not remain indifferent. If you see your fellow's donkey or ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. You must help him raise it. If along the road you chance upon a bird's nest in any tree, or on the ground with fledglings or eggs, and the mother sitting over the fledglings or on the eggs, do not take the mother together with her young. Let the mother go and take only the young, in order that you may fare well and have a long life.
When you build a new house, you will make a parapet for your roof, so that you do not bring guilt on your house if anyone should fall from it. You will not sow your vineyard with a second kind of seed, else the crop from the seed you have sown and the yield of the vineyard may not be used. You shall not plow with an ox and a donkey together. You shall not wear cloth combining wool and linen. You will make tassels on the four corners of the garment with which you cover yourself.
I'm now going to invite everyone to rise as we're going to set aside the Torah, and then we're going to read from what we call the Haftorah portion. Again, please rise. These are the words passed down by the prophets of Israel to the people of Israel.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim haolam omed. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim haolam omed. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim.
Thank you, Sinoffs, for a beautiful dressing of the Torah. We're now going to go to what we call the Haftorah. That doesn't mean it's a half Torah portion. The Haftorah actually means additional. It's an additional piece from the Bible. So not from one of the first 5 books, but from what we call the second section, or the prophets. And so we have the pleasure of inviting first Ari to read the prayer beforehand and to read the actual Haftorah in Hebrew. He'll be reading from the book of Isaiah, which is the Haftorah we read almost every week now from this book, chapter 54, verses 1 through 10. And he'll be reading in the Plout on pages 1345 through 1346. Once he's completed his second prayer, we're going to invite Carol Sinoff, his grandmother, to read the Haftorah portion in English.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdov Yisrael amo unvi'i ha'amet v'sedek. Roni akara lo yalada pitchi rina vetz ahali lo chala ki rabim b'nei shomema mi b'nei ve'ula amar Adonai. Harchivi mekom ha'aholech viriot mishkenotayich yatu al tachsichi ha'arichi metarayich vitidotayich chazeki ki yamin usmol tifrotzi vizar eich goyim yirash ve'arim nishmo yoshivu al tiri kilo tevoshi ve'al tikalami kilo tachpiri ki voshet al umayich tishkachi v'cherpat al menutayich lo tizkiri od ki vo'alayich osayich Adonai Tzvaot Shemo Vigo Alech Kadosh Yisrael Elohei Kol Haaretz Yikare. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Ser Kol Ha'olamim Tzadik Bechol Hadarat Ha'el Ha'ne'eman Ha'omer Ve'oseh Ha'medaber Kayem Shekol Divrav Emet V'Sedek. Al HaTorah Ve'al HaAvodah Ve'al HaNevi'im Ve'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh Shinatata Lanu Adonai Eloheinu Lekei Dusha V'lim Nucha Lechavod Utifaret Al Hakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu Modim Lach Umevarechim Ota Yitbarach Shimcha Bifi Kol Chai Tamid Lo Lam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Shout, O barren one, you who bore no child. Shout aloud for joy, you who did not travail. For the children of the wife forlorn will outnumber those of the espoused, said the Eternal. Enlarge the site of your tent. Extend the size of your dwelling. Do not stint. Lengthen the ropes and drive the pegs firm. For you will spread out to the right and the left. Your offspring will become nations, and your people will reinvigorate desolate towns. Fear not, you will not be shamed. Do not cringe, you will not be disgraced. For you will forget the reproach of your youth and no longer remember the shame of your widowhood. For God who made you will espouse you. God's name is Eternal of Hosts. The Holy One of Israel will redeem you. God is called God of all the earth. Be shaken, said the Eternal, who takes you back in love.
Along with leading the service, reading from the Torah, reading from the Haftorah, we also ask that our bar mitzvah students give a speech based upon the portion. It's really incredible to watch them lead the entire service because basically all you have to do is read from the Torah portion, but we ask them to do all of this as well. And so it's a privilege to invite Ari to come up and give us his view of this Torah portion.
Shabbat Shalom. In this week's Torah portion, Parashat Kitetza, the Israelites who just escaped Egypt 40 years earlier are about to enter the land of Israel. During their time in the desert over these 40 years, they began to create this new society in which they believed that God expected them to be good human beings and follow all ethical laws. It was an incredible new start for our world. My portion has many topics, some of which I must admit are outright bizarre. However, most of the laws are still important today. One lesson I found meaningful was that we shouldn't be indifferent when we see someone in need. We should aid him, even if we don't like him. What does it mean to be indifferent? It basically means that we don't care enough to help. In our minds, we didn't do anything to someone, so we don't need to help. If we see Tim's lost hat on the ground and say to ourselves, who cares? We would be doing a disservice by not attempting to return it to him, making ourselves indifferent. If one of my friends is getting picked on or harassed and I do nothing, then I'm really just being on the oppressor's side. I should go help him or find an adult. I was still in the wrong even though I wasn't the person picking on him. More importantly, if I don't like the person who's being harassed, I'm still obligated to help. The Torah and Judaism obligates us to step in and help no matter who is suffering. This law is for both kids and adults. If we are on the highway and we see a family on the side of the road with car troubles, we are obligated by the Torah to help that family, even if we are not mechanically inclined. We can always dial AAA. As a bar mitzvah, I will do my best to never be indifferent and always help those in need. I am also commanded by God to perform mitzvot, or good deeds. Once the coronavirus numbers drop significantly, I plan to volunteer 2 Sundays a month at the local retirement home for my mitzvah project. There I will play cards with the people living there, talk with them, read to some, and do whatever else the nurses ask of me. I will also be donating 10% of the money I receive from my bar mitzvah to our synagogue's Meals for the Homeless program as my tzedakah project. Chef Brian Graves is cooking meals for a few different homeless camps, and the money will help pay for the ingredients to make meals to give to the camp. Once the coronavirus numbers drop, I will assist Chef Brian in preparing the food. I'd now like to thank a few people for helping me reach this day. Firstly, thank you to my parents for always supporting me in life and during this process. You have taught me the importance of putting in effort for school and for this bar mitzvah service and everything else in life. I'd also like to thank my religious school teachers who have helped me since kindergarten, as well as my tutor, Mrs. Penny, for teaching me my Torah portion and most of the prayers. Rabbi Haas, thank you for providing guidance and mentorship as I walk along this path. My sister, Eden, for giving me the occasional, you can do it, while playing a game on her iPad. Becoming a bar mitzvah means becoming a Jewish adult. Even if I am not a legal adult, I am now expected to be much more responsible. I am commanded by God to be responsible and take care of myself. I hope to never be indifferent as I grow and mature, and I will always lend a hand when possible. I will do as many mitzvot as possible throughout my life. Shabbat Shalom.
Beautiful job, Ari. It is such a pleasure to hear young people give such meaningful speeches. And again, I apologize. I said, please give your speech at ease, and I think you heard, please give a speech and don't breathe. So either way, but it was beautifully done, and we are so proud of you. However, we also know that the people who are most proud, of course, are your parents. So we're going to invite them to come up as they have a few words they want to give as well.
Ari, we are proud of you for many reasons and have been proud of you at many moments throughout your life. Today we are especially proud because today is the culmination of the biggest commitment of your life so far. The hardest you have had to work for any one thing. Even though your dad and I are the ones that made the decision to set you on this path, and you questioned us many times, in the end, you still honored the commitment. That alone is incredibly meaningful to us. We hope that as you continue throughout life, you can draw from this experience to inspire and motivate you when you encounter questions of commitment. This celebration marks a significant milestone in your life in the eyes of the Jewish community. You are now considered mature enough to take responsibility for your actions and decisions, to think and act for yourself. In a lot of ways, that seems premature. But as I was thinking about what to say to you at this moment, I realized that you already have many of the qualities that make up a respectable and impressive adult. You are kind and compassionate, respectful and thoughtful. You have a strong sense of justice and righteousness. As evidence of your stubbornness about preparing for this day, you have shown your ability to stick to your convictions. Your easygoing nature and sense of humor put people at ease and make you instantly likable. You know how to fry an egg, make a grilled cheese, and you can wash, dry, and put away your own laundry. Heck, you're almost halfway there after all. Ari, words cannot express how deeply we love and respect you. We hope you are as proud of yourself today and always as we are. I love you.
I also want to thank a few people. Thank you to family and friends who are gathering and watching online. Thank you to our wonderful congregation. Thank you to our funny and thought-provoking rabbi. Thank you to Miss Penny for the tutoring to get Ari to this point. Also, we'd like to thank Ari's grandparents, Mimi, Happy, Grammy, and Pop, who's smiling down from above. If Pop were with us, he would be talking about this day for months. He would not have been able to get any work done because he'd be talking about your big day leading up to this and for weeks to come. We also want to thank Eden, the sister of the bar mitzvah, whose day will certainly come, and boy, will that be an event. Like her mother, Eden is a confident, strong, independent woman, as Eden likes to say. And Brenda, that brings me to you. Thank you to my wife, the mother of our children, my best friend, and the ringleader of this whole bar mitzvah. Brenda has spent a lot of time behind the scenes making sure this day happens, and not just for the past few weeks or few months, but for the past few years, bringing Ari to Hebrew school and Sunday school. And now Ari, as Mom said, all of those qualities are you. You're an honest, funny, intelligent, and articulate son. We're so proud of you for sticking to this, despite not always being 110% on board. I know sometimes there's a lot of distractions like video games, but you managed to get here someday. This bar mitzvah is only the beginning of your ascent into manhood. We want you to always do your best, always work hard, and let the chips fall where they may. The work hard part is not just in school, but in life and in relationships. Working hard is always going to be required. If you don't work hard and you don't genuinely enjoy people, nothing is going to just fall into your lap. Basically, Ari, just keep being you. We are blessed to have you as a son. We cannot be happier or more proud for you. We love you.
Now I'm going to invite the parents to put their arms around their son as they will now receive the priestly benediction, the oldest blessing we have in Judaism. We've been giving it for over 3,000 years. Yivrechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and protect you. Yer Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, may the source of God's mercy shine upon you. Yis Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God grant you the greatest gift of all, the gift of peace. Amen.
Amen.
Mazel tov again to Ari and the entire family. As we all know, this family has been a big part of our congregation for a very long time, and we are so privileged to have him here. And Ari, to you I say you got a wonderful Torah portion. I don't even think you really had to write a speech, because everything you talked about we all know you live already. You're a kind young man who knows how to be there for friends, how to be friendly, yet also competitive, how to be there for friends, but also understand that sometimes you have to criticize them to help them, how to stand up for others. These are not things that you need to learn. You already have learned them through your family, through your parents and grandparents. And so it really is, I'd say, apropos that you had this Torah portion, because it speaks so much about who you are. And you are a terrific young person, and we are so proud to have you in our community. So on behalf of me, Mazel Tov. Of course, your family and I are good friends, and so we look forward to spending many time with you in the future. However, we also have others who want to say a Mazel Tov. They are not with us in person, but the gifts are. So I'm going to bring them out. We have a range of gifts from Mickve Israel, from the Sunday School, from Brotherhood, and from the Federation. It's a pleasure to invite the president of our congregation, Charles Harris, to speak on our congregation's behalf, the director of our Sunday School, Shalom School, Ava Locker, to speak on, of course, Shalom School's behalf, and Edwin Bick, the president of the Federation, to speak on the Federation's behalf.
Ari, congratulations on your bar mitzvah. And on behalf of the board and myself, we're presenting you with a Tanakh, which is the books of the Torah and all the other books combining to make the Jewish Bible. So I know you thought you were done studying, but this is a great reference, and I look forward to discussing it with you.
Ari, your Torah portion contains a long list of mitzvot. Many of them focused on how to take care of others. Like when you build a roof, make sure to put a fence so nobody falls. When you're harvesting fruits, leave some behind for the needy. But you don't really need those rules. Those things are obvious and natural to you. Your kindness and patience are two of your many gifts, the things that make you the awesome person that you are, and are always an inspiration for the ones around you. Watching you getting to this day is such a proud moment for me and all of your Shalom School teachers. I know you'll grow into an amazing young man. I wish you all the best and many blessings to come. Mazal Tov, Ari.
Ari, my name is Edwin Beck, and I'm the president of the Savannah Jewish Federation. I want to congratulate you on your bar mitzvah. I know it has been different, as I usually do this in person, but this is my first Zoom bar mitzvah. I know that you have been working very hard for your bar mitzvah, and your parents are very proud of you. The Savannah Jewish Federation is a community organization that supports the Jewish community of all Savannah and all of our other communities, both locally and nationally. As a gift, we are going to give you a tzedakah box that you will be receiving, so that you will always remember this day, and always remember that as part of your bar mitzvah, you understand that giving back is part of the reason why you worked so hard to get to this point. Again, I want to congratulate you and your parents on this wonderful day.
Thank you, Charles, Ava, and Edwin. As we know, we have a wonderful community here in Savannah and so many organizations, and they are all proud of Ari. I can guarantee you that. Such a phenomenal young man. We are now, though, going to conclude our service, as I'm going to invite everyone to turn to page 158 as we prepare to return the Sefer Torah, the Solomon Torah, to the Ark. I'm going to invite anyone who would like to please rise. Again, page 158. Extol the Eternal One with me, and let us exalt God's presence together. In the middle of page 159, behold, a good doctrine has been given you, guard it well. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. The Aleinu is found on page 368. Let us adore the ever-living God. We offer praise unto you who spread out the heavens and established the earth. Your glory is revealed in the heavens above, and your greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. We bow our heads in reverence before the Eternal One, source of all life. And everyone may be seated. We're going to continue at the bottom of page 369. On that day, the eternal shall be one, and God's name shall be one. Turn to page 374. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, the 6 million who perished in the Shoah, and those of every race, nation, and faith whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we do each week, we first take a moment to honor the memory of the men and women who gave their lives this past week as members of armed forces. On today of all days, we also take a moment to honor the memory of all the relatives who came and helped Ari become the man he is today. Some of them he knew, Many of them he didn't, but they all helped him become who he is. We also remember the Yahrzeit anniversary of Mary Behrens, Al Chaskin, Henry I. Coleman, Elizabeth or Betty Deal, David Beauregard Falk, Julius F. Kazan, Eric Michael Gorbach, Kurt Heitler, Miriam Roos Hellman, Margaret K. Apple Caton, Eva Wolf Lewald, Dorothy Feinmendel, Matilda Cohen Morgenstern, Sergeant Hannes Polak, RAF, Lolly Exley Ran, Dr. Meyer M. Schneider, Mordechai Scheftel, Norman J. Schoenig, Herbert S. Traub, Lillian K. Unger, Armand S. Weil, Henrietta Isabel Steinheimer Victor, Edgar A. Weil, Frank B. Weil, and our thoughts go out to the family of Esther Bushbaum, who passed away this week. If anyone else has the name of someone they'd like to add, I'm going to invite you to do so privately or loud in your own home. The Kaddish Praise is found on page 375. I invite all who would like to please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachonu v'yamechonu v'chayeducho beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zban kari v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivrach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudisha brichu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram v'yalma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all bereaved, as together we say, amen. And everyone may be seated, as it's a pleasure to invite up again our president, Dr. Charles Harris, for a few announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the rigatoni with our Shabbat to-go meal, and we're going to have some great ones in September. I also want to let you know that we have multiple ways for you to view the prayer books for the high holidays, and you'll be getting notification about that. There is an information section in the contact. And then if you have any questions, you can call the office. And if you want to order the books or need help doing that, just let us know as well. So until next week, I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Charles, for those wonderful announcements. We are so thrilled to have High Holidays coming up. Again, it's our first virtual one, so we have an incredible amount of stuff going to be put into those services. So please stay tuned for that. We've got music from Philadelphia, from Savannah. We've got an incredible array of people participating, and it's been a lot of work, and we're so thankful that we could put it all together. Also, we have a variety of events and programs. Please check our calendar to see if you're interested in doing anything. Finally, we're going to conclude our services. I'm going to invite the Sinoff family to come back up, as Ari is going to lead us in Ein Kelohenu, and then his cousins, who unfortunately obviously weren't going to be able to be here, will lead us in the prayer over the wine and the prayer over the bread. Their names are Ben and Claire Sinoff, probably related. So now it's a pleasure to invite up the entire family again for Ein Kelohenu. Invite everyone who would like to please rise.
Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadronenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu, Mikelohenu, Mikadonenu, Mikamalkenu, Mikamoshienu, Nodelohenu, Nodeladonenu, Nodelamalkenu, Nodelamoshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. There is none like our God who can be compared to you. Let us thank our Maker. Blessed is our Redeemer. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Again, Shabbat Shalom to everyone, and Mazel Tov again to the Sinoff family. But before we conclude, we have a little extra, as some family and friends have sent in videos to show their love and support. So we're going to conclude with that. Everyone be safe. Have a wonderful weekend. We look forward to seeing you next week. Shabbat Shalom.
Ari, you make me so proud of the young man you have become. Proud of your character, creativity, kindness, integrity, and sense of humor. I will always remember our special conversations about school, friends, and decisions you have made. After telling me you were going to become a vegetarian, you said it was because you didn't think it was right to take a life. Very deep thoughts for a young person. Within 24 hours, you called to tell me you were no longer a vegetarian. When I asked why, you responded that you didn't know it included bacon. Always respect your parents. They are preparing you for your life ahead. Be nice to your sister Eden. She knows a lot of girls, which will be important to you sooner than you think. Lastly, please know you can always count on me. I will always unconditionally love and support you. Grammy.
Happy birthday, Ari, and congratulations on becoming a bar mitzvah. Michelle and I are very impressed with all the studying and hard work you've done to get ready for your big day. We love you so much, and we know that you will make us and all the Sinoffs very proud.
Hey Ari, I just wanted to say congratulations on your bar mitzvah. That's a huge step. I'm very, very proud of you. And from me, Abe, and Waffle, we love you so much, and congratulations again. Love you.
Hi, Cousin Ari. It's the Orlando Sinoffs.
Hi, Ari.
We just wanted to say congratulations on your bar mitzvah. We're very proud of you, and we love you.
Congratulations, Ari. Congratulations, Ari.
We're so happy for you.